On a recovery mission for an interplanetary weapon, emotionless aliens face identity crisis when their interactions with humans awaken their dormant emotions. In New York City, Josh uses his telescope when a meteorite crashes and lands inside his fishbowl. His mother Gina hears the noise and assumes that a group of kids threw a baseball through their window. She scolds them while her son excitedly tells her that something from space almost hit him. However, Gina dismisses it as his active imagination and tells him to get ready for bed. Once his mother leaves, Josh watches as the water in his fishbowl is drained into the space rock. 3 months later, another object crashes into Earth and lands on Liberty Island. From the rubble, a man dressed in a white suit emerges, equipped with advanced technology. The man makes his way into New York City and tries imitating human behavior, but his movements are horrendously unnatural. At the police station, the sergeant assigns officers Knox and Dooley to investigate reports of a fireball on Liberty Island. As the man observes the humans to blend in, he crosses the road at the wrong moment and is struck by Gina's vehicle. Gina rushes to call an ambulance, but during her absence, the man walks away. He hides in a nearby alley where his ear opens up, and N-17 descends to repair the damage. The man is actually a spaceship containing the emotionless aliens led by Captain. Engineer reports that their functionality has been reduced to only 48 hours due to the impact. N2, the first officer, suggests that continuing the mission is too risky, so they should return home. The captain addresses the crew, reiterating their mission to find the orb and throw it into the ocean to save their planet Nil from an energy crisis. Failure will result in the perishing of their people. After the speech, N3, the cultural officer, confirms that they can communicate with humans by tapping into the internet, whereas N4, the weapons officer, assures that their weapons can deal with the giants. However, N3 reports that draining Earth's oceans will have a catastrophic effect, but Captain reminds her that their orders are to save Nil, not Earth. Inside their apartment, Josh places the space rock in his school bag and notices a drunk person in the alley, who Gina realizes is the man she hit earlier. Aboard the alien ship, Captain notices giants trying to establish contact and orders N-17 to halt the repairs. Concerned, Gina offers to call medical assistance for the man, but to her surprise, he looks unharmed. After a voice modulation mishap, the captain announces that he's feeling better, and the relieved mother bids Josh to go to school. Moments later, N-17 requests permission to enter the ship, so Dave moves his head in an awkward manner to accommodate this request. This gives Gina the impression that he's still hurt, prompting her to invite him to her apartment. On their way, they encounter Mark, Gina's friend, who introduces himself. With Captain uncertain about what to do, it leads to awkwardness until Gina intervenes. Inside the apartment, the aliens are fascinated by Gina's work since their culture lacks art and feeling. When the woman offers them water, the man's motor skills make the artist worry. When asked for his name, the captain adopts the name Dave. Gina then makes him breakfast but asks him to beat some eggs. Unbeknownst to her, the ship's superhuman speed whisks the entire eggs into a froth. As the artist hands him ketchup, Dave mistakes it for a drink and gulps it down. Moments later, the woman finds him drawn to one of the pictures, so she shares that it's her late husband, Frank. N3 then discovers the orb in a picture across the room. It's a photo of Josh at a science fair, and Gina mentions that he always carries his space rock everywhere. Upon hearing this, N3 tracks down the boy's location, and Dave abruptly excuses himself. Meanwhile, on Liberty Island, Dooley, an alien aficionado, believes that something from space crashed on Earth, though his partner is skeptical. The aliens then follow a boy they believe is Josh into an Apple store. Inside, an employee hands Dave a pair of headphones to wear while he waits. As the music starts playing, it causes structural problems within the ship, prompting Captain to order a hasty retreat. At a crosswalk, N2 remarks on humans' chaotic disregard for rules, causing the captain to worry about his first officer's mental stability. Doctor suggests that Earth may have introduced contaminants and promises to monitor the situation. At a park, Dave observes a couple kissing, capturing the curiosity of the entire crew. As they pass a group of children, they mistake Dave for the ice cream man. Captain becomes annoyed by the attention their attire is attracting, so he elects to change their clothes to something more fashionable. When Dave attempts to try on clothes, the unrehearsed maneuver results in him flailing around and causing a commotion. He then scans cash that's lying around and excretes copies while inside the fitting room. After purchasing clothes, N3 announces that they've arrived at the school, but they've actually ended up somewhere on Broadway, and the performance stirs something in N4. Dave finally arrives at Josh's school, where Rich snatches the orb from the kid. Dave is mistaken for a substitute teacher and is assigned to their target's class, letting the the boy immediately recognize him. After teaching the kid something simple, the substitute calls Josh outside and urges him to return the orb. As school finishes, Josh says that Rich took the orb and leads Dave to where the bully might be. However, Rich isn't there, and as they're about to leave, two men announce a robbery. Dave mocks the robbers, then launches one of them across the room before pinching their gun shut. Amazed, Josh invites Dave to join them tomorrow in celebrating his mom's birthday at the neighborhood fair, saying that Rich will likely be there too. Inside Dave, N2 claims that the boy is useless, urging Captain to find the orb themselves. However, Captain maintains that their chances are better with Josh. When Gina arrives, Josh excitedly tells her how Dave saved him from armed robbers. Her son wishes to be as strong as him, but he feels limited by his size. Dave tells him that the most powerful force in the universe often comes from the smallest star, lifting Josh's spirits. Grateful, Gina invites the man to dinner. N4 cautions that prolonged interaction with humans exposes them to unknown danger, but Captain disregards the warning. Meanwhile, at the Statue of Liberty, Dooley ends their investigation with a plaster mold of Dave's face. That night, Dave takes the phrase "clearing the table" literally and causes a mess. While Gina cleans up, they discuss her painting. So she shares that it's based on her feelings, which is a concept unfamiliar to the aliens. The artist elaborates that when she painted it, she was overwhelmed with love. Captain asks what love feels like, and she says that he'll know the answer when it happens. Intriguing N3. After dinner, Dave walks the streets in search of a place to sleep. He settles beside a homeless person, and Captain is surprised when he willingly shares his blanket despite having so little. As Captain retires, Doctor reports observing unusual behavior among the crew, but it's dismissed as mere fatigue. Elsewhere, N4 begins dancing in his room, inspired by the Broadway performance, while other crew members display atypical behavior. Unable to sleep, the captain returns to the helm and finds N3 there, who explains that she's conducting research. As the cultural officer prepares the research, Captain reminisces about their long study sessions together, admitting that he wouldn't have graduated without her help. As he turns away, she gazes at him with a hint of longing. The research is revealed to be the movie It's a Wonderful Life, and they bond over the iconic scene of lassoing the moon. As the film ends, they both feel a surge of emotion, almost leading to a kiss. However, they quickly snap back to their typical selves, and N3 excuses herself. The following day, Dooley shows the sergeant a sketch of the face, but his suspicions are disregarded. Still, Dooley distributes the sketch anyway, convinced that it's proof of aliens. Meanwhile, when Dave wakes up, Engineer reports that they only have 12 hours of power remaining. As Dave accompanies Josh and Gina at the fair, his expressionless face is in stark contrast with the crew's experiences. After winning an eating contest, N3 playfully smacks Captain in celebration. When presented with his prize, Captain mistakes it for a dangerous creature and strangles it. After realizing that it's an inanimate object, N3 suggests giving it to Gina, as he suavely mentions that Dave's colon is impacted. While walking back from the bathroom, Dave runs into Mark, who warns him not to take advantage of Gina. Captain can't comprehend the threat until the jealous N3 clarifies that Mark is discerning whether Dave wants to be Gina's mate. Captain says the notion is absurd since Gina is the size of a building to them. In the distance, Captain notices an altercation between Josh and Rich. Just as the bully is about to hit Josh, Dave intervenes, turning the bully upside down and shaking him until the orb falls out. The kid expresses his gratitude by teaching Dave how to high-five. Later, Dave decides to play a carnival game while N2 urges Captain to focus on completing their mission now that they have the orb. However, Captain is encouraged to display his skills but accidentally knocks Dave out in the process. Dave is then taken to a hospital, where he's shocked back into functionality. As they leave, Dave invites Gina to a celebratory dinner. N2 finds the situation ridiculous, but Captain sees it as showing their appreciation. When the first officer expresses his frustration, Captain orders him away before announcing to the crew that they're going to a party. Meanwhile, a nearby security guard recognizes Dave from Dooley's sketch. They arrive at the restaurant where Dave consumes alcohol, much to the annoyance of the members of the Mouth crew. As they watch Gina and Josh dancing, N17 tries the alcohol and encourages others to do as well. Elsewhere, N3 confides her newfound feelings to N4, whom she noticed displaying similar symptoms. N4 initially denies it, but when the cultural officer barges into his room, she discovers a brightly decorated space, and N4 drops his stony facade. While Gina is in the bathroom, Dave tells Josh about his impending departure. Seeing the boy dejected, Captain reassures Josh that he played a significant role in saving them, which lifts the boy's spirits. Inside Dave, N2 sees other crewmates displaying atypical behavior, further incensing him. Meanwhile, N4 gives N3 N3 a complete makeover, during which he complains that Gina's posterior is as big as Nil's moon. Just as the cultural officer grabs Captain's attention with her glamorous transformation, Gina drags Dave to the dance floor, diverting his attention and causing N3 to storm out. As Captain prepares to dance, Doctor reports that emotions are running wild on the ship and warns of impending anarchy. However, Captain disregards this, eager to begin dancing. Meanwhile, N2 is planning a coup, declaring that their leader has become a fool. This sentiment is reinforced when they overhear Captain's orders for more wiggling. Seeing the terrible dancing, N4 takes over, transforming Dave into a dancing machine. Meanwhile, N17 starts a conga line that exits through Dave's ear. Noticing this, Dave drops Gina and stuffs the drunk crew back into his mouth. Shortly after, Knox and Dooley arrive, arresting Dave. Engineer suggests arming weapons, but the captain refuses to endanger civilians. He's then taken to the police station where Dooley treats him like an alien. While under interrogation, N2 seizes control of the ship, but Captain is confident that the crew will not support him. To his surprise, N3 betrays him. As he's taken away, Captain proclaims that Earth has awakened something within them that N2 can't stop. In response, N2 declares that un-Nilian behavior will be punished under his command. In the lobby, as Gina explains the situation to her son, Mark arrives, prompting Josh to insist that Dave did nothing wrong. Inside the ship, the crew is shocked when N2 orders their weapons armed. With that, the ship blasts through the walls of the interrogation room. In the chaos, N17 abandons ship and lands in a cup of coffee nearby. As Dave passes by Gina and Josh, the new captain insults her art before blasting through a wall. Seeing N2's enjoyment of destruction, N3 quietly slips away. Outside, police officers attempt to stop Dave, but they're easily outgunned. N2 then realizes that N3 is missing, so he alerts the guards. Elsewhere, N3 frees Captain, clarifying that her intention isn't to save him but to stop N2. Captain asks what he's done to upset her, but the cultural officer is only exasperated by his obliviousness. Putting aside her annoyance, Captain states they must go to the engine room and shut the ship down, but the two are caught immediately. Amidst the chaos at the police station, Josh insists that something is wrong with Dave and pleads that they must intervene or something bad will happen. Inside Dave, the captives are herded to the helm, where Captain declares that they've gained valuable knowledge from Earth, so it should be preserved. However, N2 announces that he has no choice and ejects the traitors out of Dave's nose. As Captain and N3 navigate the gargantuan world, he rescues her from being run over, though she accuses him of only caring for Gina. Before Captain can confide his feelings, he spots their ship and utilizes a plastic bag to fly toward it. After being struck by an oncoming vehicle, they use the momentum from the windshield wipers and land on Dave's foot. There, Captain continues his confession, wishing he lassoed the moon for N3 long ago, but he was too Nilian to express himself. They attempt to kiss, but regaining control of the ship takes precedence. As Dave heads for the evacuation site, he starts slowing down. Engineer reports that their dwindling power is causing the issue, so N2 orders Dave to literally grab a taxi. At the police station, as Knox calls Homeland Security for assistance, N17 reveals himself to Dooley, divulging their plan to drain Earth's saltwater. The two secretly join forces to apprehend the rampaging Dave. Meanwhile, Gina, Josh, and Mark race toward Dave's location. As Dave prepares to toss the orb into the ocean, Captain and N3 manage to override the ship's left hand. However, despite Captain's efforts to thwart the mission, the orb eventually rolls into the water. Desperate, he boldly makes his way to the helm and regains control of his ship, with N4 becoming the first to stand with him. Back in command, Captain instructs them to retrieve the orb, but Engineer warns that doing so will deplete their energy reserves, making it impossible to return home. N2 interjects, asking Captain whether he'll choose to save Earth or his crew. Captain affirms his belief in saving Earth, but N2 wonders if the crew agrees. N3 declares that her life began on Earth, so she's committed to saving it and its moon, identifying herself as Dave. Gradually, the rest of the crew joins in, proclaiming that they're all Dave, except N4, who names himself Johnny Dazzles. As the crew unites in their decision to save Earth, N2 dismisses them as mad before being imprisoned. As planned, Dave diverts all remaining power, summoning the orb and hurling it into the atmosphere, resulting in a beautiful rainbow. Shortly after, Gina, Josh, and Mark arrive, and Dave informs them that he's out of power. Soon, Dooley and Knox join rejoin the group, brandishing their weapons. Noticing the taser on Knox's hip, Josh seizes it and tases Dave, causing a surge of power that electrifies the crew with hope. Suddenly, Dave's mouth opens and Captain emerges. The sight bewilders everyone except for Josh, who's captivated by the alien's size. Addressing the crowd, Captain apologizes for N2's actions during his brief period of command. He then directs his words to Josh, acknowledging his contribution in saving 2 worlds. Captain assures the boy that his father is proud of him and encourages him not to fear being different. To Gina, he says that he now knows the feeling of her painting, and N3 steps forward to join him. Finally, N17 is safely returned to the ship, rejoining the crew. Captain declares it's time to return home but assures Josh that they'll never be far apart. As Dave takes off, the reinforcements Knox called arrive, preventing their departure. While Dave is surrounded, a lone shoe rockets away, with Josh and Dooley being the only witnesses. As the Nilians leave Earth behind, N3 expresses that there are other worlds that could be Nil's salvation. Captain agrees, affirming that the knowledge they gained on Earth is worth all the salt in the galaxy. In an uncharacteristic act for Nilians, Captain and N3 kiss while their crew cheers on.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.